3, 2, 1, and we're live, man. So live to the world.
All right.
Thanks for coming on, brother.
What's up, man?
I know.
Yeah.
It's good. So did you sleep?
Last night I actually slept.
I was like, maybe 2 nights.
Yeah, well, last night was probably the first night I got 8 hours in like 3-4 months. Yeah.
Shit. How long have you been working on this?
Working on it like from the beginning.
From the funding point. It's been a year and a half,
funding.
2 years?
Actually, that's interesting because I just looked it up. So the crowdfunding video we shot August 12th, 2017.
Okay.
The crowdfunding went live September 12th, 2017. Damn. We wrapped August 12th, 2018. Yeah. I know this because it's my wedding anniversary.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
We
Congratulations
shot
twice.
well, thank you. We shot the crowdfunding video a year to the date we wrapped. We said wrap. Roughly the same time of day.
That's kind of
1
awesome.
year, which is pretty incredible for an independent film. You know, to actually meet its crowdfunding goal, then go on the cast and crew and make the film. So it's wrapped now, and it's just post-production, man.
It's called The Lion Killer?
Lion Killer, just
so
Lion Killer.
I'm assuming by the name it has something to do with jiu-jitsu.
No, it's a cautionary tale of how Donald Trump became president.
Yeah,
okay.
You
I was
know
wrong. I made the wrong assumption.
Lion Killer. I don't know who the lion would play.
That's my problem. Everything to me is related to jiu-jitsu. So.
It's easy.
No, yeah, it's definitely a jiu-jitsu film. Cool. So you know.
Love story, right?
Yeah, well,
it's not a love story, but there is.
It's a love story.
There's a romantic element in there. Is that safe to say?
I'd call it a Brazilian jiu-jitsu love story.
Yeah,
you know. Sex scenes in it?
You want me to add one?
I'm just asking. Look, you said there was a romantic interest in the movie. I'm curious.
Well, you gotta be careful nowadays, man.
All your love stories have like a hardcore.
It depends.
If it was true to life with jiu-jitsu, is what you're saying?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, he keeps the 8-track in the back of his truck.
Nice.
Nah, little Eddie Rabbit. All my love stories on my phone.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I don't know what you mean, but okay.
No, yeah,
you married gents.
But yeah, so it's a set in Houston, Brazilian jiu-jitsu story about instructors, experiencing hard times, meets a girl with a history of domestic abuse, and it's about two people with a lot of issues trying to learn to love and be better people together.
Yeah, and not necessarily just with themselves. More internally and
absolutely, because they really both have their own stories going on, and then they're coming together and trying to create their own story at the same time. So,
and then because I looked at all of their stuff and tried to get information, and then went blank on their names. The lead actor and actress.
The male lead is Matthew Meehan.
Yeah,
he trains at Gracie Baja. I forget which one. Not the Woodlands, but And the female lead is Regina Ting Chen. So they're both two local Houston actors. Okay. Regina recently has been on a few episodes of like Black Lightning, and she's doing some, I don't know if I could say some other stuff, some roles in some bigger
she posted
things.
something about doing four I don't know, shorts or something that she was showing a prep video for it. And I think it was a Muay Thai deal.
What the kickboxing thing?
Yeah.
Or what? Oh, actually, I think that was with Mark Dong, who has a Krav Maga school, CrossFit Now.
Okay.
And that was actually during the last day. She came on set last day. She didn't have any scenes, but we all wanted to rap together. Yeah. So she had a lot of downtime. So we were shooting at Mark Dong's Krav Maga school, and I guess they were bored, and they were just
so they were
going
goofing out. Okay,
yeah.
She
it was a lot
something.
of fun. But she's doing a few bigger things now, and this was her first lead. So. They both just killed it, man. It's a drama piece, but it's got jiu-jitsu, it's got a love story, it's got people getting choked out, it's rolling.
That's my kind of movie.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Where were you at, man? I put out a call for extras to come.
It was non-paid. Honestly, I didn't see it. I heard. Did you have James Markle on it?
Yeah. We shot it.
James said something about it.
Yeah.
And I heard a couple people guys talking about it, but man, I'm busy enough as it is. But if I had seen it, I totally would have.
Oh, it was fun. Yeah,
I would have come out.
We did 2 separate days with the jiu-jitsu, local jiu-jitsu community, just coming out, volunteering, and just rolling around. And I've cut a lot of those scenes together, and it's so authentic, because it's like it looks to me, it feels like a jiu-jitsu class.
Yeah.
How a jiu-jitsu class feels, because literally it was just all jiu-jitsu people. Of course, I told them, look, I'm gonna put belts on. You can't bring your brown belt and your So Sid Kareem was there, and I was like, dude,
Okay, yeah.
here's a blue belt. You know what I mean?
You gave Sid a blue belt?
Yeah.
That's a travesty. That dude-
Chad Kite was there.
dude,
He's a black belt. I gave him a
Sid
blue
was
belt.
crushing me yesterday. We were rolling, and I was just like, Jesus Christ. He's a black belt. He's a black belt RGM.
Yeah,
He's very
yeah.
good.
No, I met him
Around
at the.
one time. That's right, you met
yeah.
Sid. He's very good. That's hilarious to put a blue belt on him.
Yeah. Me and
That's
Sid go
awesome.
back a long way, man. We
Yeah.
used to roll like blue belt days all the time. But
Yeah.
so yeah, Chad Kite was there, and I put whites and blues on everybody. But you just stand on one end with a camera and you say, okay, forward shoulder rolls, and you don't have to explain it. Everybody just does it.
So was the scene like like it was just like a class scene?
Yeah, there's a couple scenes. There's a tournament scene, like a 8-man tournament. That's what we
Right.
shot at Marco's, which is kind of supposed to be like, how people have like small little
Right.
8-man tourneys at their school, So we had a scene like that. Then we had kind of just like just a big class scene.
That's very cool. That's very cool.
So it's really true to how, if you've rolled, if you've trained, you spend time on the mats.
So it's not like red belt.
Hey man, that's one of my favorite movies.
Come on, get
you
outta
should
here.
stop
Get the
yourself.
fuck outta
David
here.
Mamet, the genius. David Mamet is a genius.
Oh, okay.
Man, that
Dude, that's
movie
like
right
that's
there.
what.
I've never
Let's
seen-
argue about this. What is
Yeah.
bad in that movie? Because I know a lot of jiu-jitsu people. What a lot of jiu-jitsu people are. It's the movie isn't about jiu-jitsu.
No, it's just in
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
It's-
it's a
it's-
component of
It's
it.
kind of a major component of it.
Yeah.
Well, it's a key element in the story, but it's about it's about Mike Terry, the character, and the things he's
Right.
going through, and really a lot of David Mamet's movies, or his more recent movies, they're really kind of heist genre style movies,
Yeah.
that follow a noir theme, which is
I just never seen so many flying arm bars in a movie in my life. Number one, I don't think I've ever seen that many flying arm bars in my
what
career.
Snowflake does a flying arm bar in the beginning. Where else was there another
There's
flying?
like 15 in the last fight scene.
There was a.
Well, CJ Hancock, who plays the bad guy in Lion Killer, was like, you get jiu-jitsu people on set, and you're like, okay, let's just figure out a scene real quick, and all of a sudden, it's like flying arm bars and people
All over
doing
the place.
cartwheel passes. I'm like, okay,
Come on, like when do you see that often? It's not
but,
unless it's Edwin. What's his name? That Gracie Baja dropping flying triangles throughout the
Oh,
entire
man.
tournament.
Yeah.
That's rare. It's not that common. That's why when it happens, everybody freaks out. Like, holy shit, he just pulled that off.
That's why they want to do it in the movie.
And then the other part was,
eye grabber.
you
don't
got
like-
the
you don't-
LAPD cop committing suicide because that would be so easily explainable as a police officer. Also, it was so easily explainable. Hey, my instructor gave that to me.
the
He
man
didn't
has
know.
a Pulitzer.
Well, I'm just telling him in real life that's not what happens. You can have a Pulitzer in fake life.
No, I
but-
think, dude, the acting in that movie, the story, just the Chiwetel's performance. Is it Tim Allen? Tim Allen's performance in that movie is really great.
the actors
mean-
are
Steve
good
Allen,
actors.
yeah.
It's
That's
just
not
really,
the issue
and the
I have.
story just kind of moves at the pace it's supposed to go.
And then let's talk
and
about
get
the
you
final
there.
scene. Come on. You got the old Asian guy handing him a red belt.
Whoa.
Come on, man.
He was
Get
not
outta
old.
here.
With the old.
Guru Danny Santo. We will call him by
Whatever.
by
You
who?
can't-
The old
you're
Asian
handing-
man.
You're not handing a
Guru
red
Dan.
belt to some
Guru
guy
Dan.
because of what? Because he went through some hard times and beat the crap out of the bad guy? Come on.
But you got to sneak that in because people don't understand, man.
just-
You got to
well,
simplify
I-
the
So he's
process.
gonna hate Red Belt because
I
he's
know
gonna hate
I'm
Lion
not
Killer.
alone. Nah, I'm actually really looking forward to seeing the movie just because.
So you never trained any JKD or anything? Because
Uh,
you would know
no,
you would know
I
Danny
tra- no,
Santo
I did.
or Kali or
I know the name.
any Filipino stuff.
No,
or-
no, no.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
Krav Maga for like a minute before I got into jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And but then once I found jiu-jitsu, that was all there
That-
was.
that was your thing.
That's all there was
That
to me.
shit.
It's jiu-jitsu.
Okay, we got to get this journey. Okay, so I know some people who've done some shorts and some independents and some things like this, and I've sat in on the readings and I've watched some of the talk with some of the script writers and all that kind of stuff. I'm beyond fascinated with all the intricacies of what goes through with making a film at any level. I don't give a shit if it's a 30-minute podcast that you edit out.
Yeah.
It's a mother.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Making a short film's rough.
Yeah.
So making a feature is like a nightmare.
That's what I was just sitting there because I keep watching, all your updates and things throughout
Yeah.
the last year. I thought it was a little longer, but still, it just maybe felt like a little longer because I knew the backside of it some and what I've gone through.
Well, especially making one, and when I say nightmare, it's a nightmare that you willfully go, kind of like jiu-jitsu, like who would willfully get strangled every day, but for some reason you love it, you know what I mean? And especially like in jiu-jitsu, all the from white to blue, you go through so much,
Oh, yeah.
anguish you know, just to get that blue belt. So it's like that with film work. So I'm addicted to it. I love it, but it's definitely challenging and difficult. Yeah. Where do you want to start? What do you?
So start at the creating the storyboard side.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't even have writers or anything yet, or did you have any sort of script first?
So I wrote the script.
Yeah.
Directed it, co-produced it with my wife, editing it, sound designing, may sound mix it. I'm not sure, but I mean, you take Robert Rodriguez, he does all that as well.
Yeah.
And he scores it.
Yeah. Oh,
you know.
Man.
So I've got. I didn't shoot it. You know. Had a really good camera department, you know, young guys that I knew, David Mejia and Vinny on Insta. It's Dweeb Areno. I can never remember his last name, so let's call him Dweeb Areno. On Insta, but or IG as the kids say. They don't say Insta anymore. They say IG.
I can't keep up with all that.
You know.
All the damn kids.
So
I keep screwing up my memory.
Yeah, they pick one thing and go to another. But so they shot it, and so. Really what it started with was, you know, an idea, experiences that I had in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, certain struggles, just maybe in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in life.
Yeah.
But the reason, say I like Red Belt, or, you know, the reason I wrote Lion Killer is I always really enjoyed the movie Say Anything.
Oh, that is a great
movie.
Know?
Yeah, that was a fun one.
One of the most interesting things about that movie is Cusack's character is like really into kickboxing. Yeah. And he wants to be a kickboxer, but that's just the little backstory about his life. They don't really go in there. They show him with the kids a little bit, and now that I watch it, I think he threw one kick on a bag, and it was like the worst thing I've ever seen in life. But when you're 12, you're watching it, you know, you're like, you know. So I want to do a movie that's really has a good story and uses a world that I'm very familiar with, which is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, as a backdrop, as a means to carry the story through. So. Yeah. And then it really grows once you write a script. Then it grows. So really, jiu-jitsu became a much bigger part of the film. When you see it, really, there's just like a lot of jiu-jitsu, a lot of jiu-jitsu cultural references, and you know, even like if you're from Houston and you do jiu-jitsu, a lot of people you know will be in it. You know, so jiu-jitsu kind of really grew. But at the core, I wanted to make a story about a guy who's struggling, who really needs. Certain people in his life to really change his perspective and really put him on the right path. And a lot of times that could be a mentor, it could be a woman, it could be a wife, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it could be a best friend who just doesn't want to listen to your BS, you know? So it's really about a guy who's really in a bad place, who really needs the help of the community to push him forward. So.
Damn, are you editing too?
Yeah. So back to your question. So it starts with I wrote the script.
Yeah.
After that, it was just like building a community of people, filmmakers, local filmmakers that I knew and went to school with, and we got together, shot a trailer. That group kind of dwindled down to a core group, and what was interesting is have Anna Tran, who wanted to do production design, and she's done scripting, and she's done some smaller scale stuff, but she's like, hey, I want to production design your feature. Kevin Simmons, who's been doing gaff work, like lighting and stuff like that, on smaller stuff, but really say, hey, I want to gaff your feature. My wife, you know, co-produced it with me, which is really just all everything, putting everything together, you know. Leah Jones, who she does play work and really an accomplished playwright and author in her own right. She AD'd it, you know. I don't want to leave anybody out.
Yeah, but, don't do that.
You know, let me go on Facebook. Let me go on Facebook before.
Like, damn it,
that's funny.
But I already mentioned the camera department and my wife, so I should be good. So it was a small core group, but and then the actors, and then a lot of great local actors. But we had to do. We originally had a different male and female lead.
Oh wow!
And
okay.
So when the male lead dropped, we'd already gone through some changes and replaced the female lead. But when the male lead dropped, we actually had to do like a casting because before I was reaching out to my friends and people I knew in the community. Hey, who wants to make a movie? Should be that easy, right?
That's where I'm about to go. Is that easy, in quotations, that easy part.
Everybody likes movies. Nobody wants to make one.
It's crazy. I mean, even something like this is I get so much kickback. They're like, wait, live?
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and it just really freaks people out. And part of the reason why I have the smaller 4K cameras is because the bigger cameras,
People are intimidated by them?
freak people out.
That's
I
interesting.
don't know what it is. It's just that visual thing. Nonsense. So be as honest as you can on some of these, okay? Because I'm really curious about this. Funding, is it a lot of volunteer work on the front end? Like, what can people expect?
For crowdfunding?
No, yeah, well, either crowdfunding and then getting these people in, like getting the camera crews and doing your pilot and bringing some of these people in to help with the various aspects, you know, the laundry list of aspects of it.
As far as crowdfunding, well, there's different ways to fund. You could, traditional ways, you know, like you sell equity for your film.
Yeah,
and,
don't
you know,
do that.
Yeah, it's pretty much impossible nowadays, in my opinion. Because giving money to a film, there's so many better. Open-end jiu-jitsu school is a better investment than a movie, you know, especially in this day and age.
Yeah.
So crowdfunding is really your best bet. The good news is you can make a movie now. I mean, this was a micro-budget feature, so it wasn't $100,000-$200,000. You know, we raised $8,000. You know, and after the website takes their portion, you know, $7,500, but with DSLR cameras and Zoom recorders, and Tascam has their version, which is what I used. I mean, there's so much technology at your disposal, and really being able to do as much yourself, the Robert Rodriguez method, which is write, direct, produce. These are all people, I recorded sound for the movie. So these are all things, if you're doing it the right way, you would hire people to do. Yeah. But,
But first film.
First film. I mean, Spike Lee did everything on his own. Robert Rodriguez did everything on his own. Kevin Smith had, 2-3 guys with him, So, it's just really in that tradition, which is really the kind of jiu-jitsu mentality, which is I'll find a way to make it happen,
Well, and that's so much, I think, in today's world is the traditional that you talked about at the beginning, traditional funding, traditional hires, all that kind of crap. I mean, even some of the bigger feature or middle range features that you're seeing at 2,000, 3,000 theaters across the country. Yeah, they're doing a lot of the similar things now. Yeah, it's all about cutting and cutting and cutting, and most of their money winds up going into the editing side.
Yeah, post. Well, the thing is, there's so much content out there now. It's I mean, you've got so much streaming. You got so many shows. I think there's over 200 shows at your disposal right now between like every network and streaming service, and you can't watch them all. And then everybody's doing new content, original content. So there's a lot of opportunity if you can make something and build an audience, make something that's good, that tells a story, build an audience. But they're not going to pay you what, in the 90s you went to Sundance and the Weinstein showed up with $1 million check or $2 those days aren't here. So
you're not finding Weinstein anymore, but
yeah, he's gone.
He's a bye-bye. Are you going to tour with it? I mean, do you plan on touring with it?
The thing is, submit to festivals. Even nowadays, touring is even easier. There's a website called Tug, which will help you like tour your film. So if you're in a different state, people want to watch the movie, they sell X amount of tickets, and you go and you can tour your film. So right now, really, I want to just get it done. Yeah. There's so much editing to be done, but to tour it and hopefully try to sell it or license it to to a streaming service or hopefully theatrical, depending.
That's it. So when you tour, what do you do? What exactly does that involve?
Well, I mean, like touring a film is kind of like an indie band touring Tug is a little more interesting because you can actually request how much you need to go out there. So if you say I need X amount of dollars, then that would cover your flight and your hotel and your everything. But I mean, historically, some people would tour films with the college circuit, showing libraries.
What are you hoping for? Just to get it out there? Or are you hoping to get someone to?
Well, with me, with this, I mean, like I said, the first goal is to actually like sell or license the film.
Right.
After that, I mean, with this, I mean, because there's a niche audience with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I mean, I could do anything. I could tour it at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu schools.
Right.
You know what I mean? I could go all over the world and just show it, locally to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu people and the MMA community. But, the first goal is to, create a really outstanding product and then take that to market.
Right.
So and then see what happens after that. And, there's always plan Bs. But
so if you get it picked up, then you sell the film to somebody and then they're allowed to, like, I guess, put it on their side.
Yeah.
Service. Is that how that
I mean,
works?
it depends on some like Netflix doesn't buy every movie that's on there. They'll license, you know. So it's kind of like I did, you know, music for years, and I licensed music to Japan and Asia. And it was just kind of like, you know, here's a check, here's a contract. We've got the rights for this territory. Yeah. You can't sell it in this territory for X amount of years, you know. So, you know, it could be that kind of deal. Or, you know, I think a lot of people are interested in being a Netflix original or a Hulu original.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I don't know what the numbers are and what they're paying, but like I said, it's definitely not what filmmakers were making in the 90s, which, you know, is all the more reason to make a micro budget or a very low budget indie. If someone's going to license your film for $50,000 or $100,000 and have rights for 5 years, you can't make it for $250,000. Right. You know what I mean? So you've got to make it on $10,000. The good news is, with a lot of ability, technology is at our disposal now. We can do that, which is really interesting because it's very controversial right now. I say that, and if I said this all throughout when I was going to film school, and all I heard was laughter. Yeah. You know, you can't make. I had instructors tell me you can't make a movie for less than $100,000.
Yeah, that's what they're going to tell you at school.
There's tons of you know.
Right.
You know.
Well, it's kind of interesting. I've never known how. Well, I've never really thought about how movies or television shows make money in the sense of someone producing them and then them being put out there, especially like independent, kind of like what you're doing.
Indie films are. It's just there's just basically there's shorts, which are kind of independent, but not always, because major production houses will do those. But basically, you have your shorts, your indies, and your big ones.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Your studios.
Yeah, your
so
big
yeah,
studios.
you could take, and there's a few places you could sell, like big, you know.
Well, it seems like now's the time for maybe independent films, right?
Oh yeah.
There's so many places to look at and watch different kinds of stories and movies between not just all the streaming services because I don't ever remember it being like this. We never had content like this ever, where you just pick whatever you want to look, and there's amazing.
You had to watch Dukes of Hazzard or
it was whatever
Love
was on
Boat.
television. Love Boat.
Yeah,
that was actually pretty good.
But it's a little bit tricky because yes, you're right. This is the age of independence. Because everything you can put such high quality out at such a low cost. And you can build your own
audience.
Exactly.
And if you do that and build an audience, I mean, really, you don't need. I mean, you could just sell independently.
Right.
You could just, you know, I mean, you could upload your stuff to Amazon Prime now. I mean, they've removed the roadblocks, so I can make a film and just upload it to Amazon. You know, maybe not Prime, maybe choose to have people buy it for $5 or do it to Prime. Yeah. You know, and if you can build an audience, you really don't need, you know, a big company, a Miramax to get behind you. Because if you sell, you know, 100,000 downloads at $5 a pop, I mean.
Well, is that going down? Are movies on the way up or on the way down as far as people watching major productions?
It's both. I don't know a better way to say that because I keep watching all the analytics on those things because Netflix is a beast that massively interests me on how they make money and how they pay out and do all those kinds of things.
And they're super secretive.
Yeah, it's tough to get into that.
To get data from them.
Yeah.
Right here.
It's very hard to get data from them.
Yeah.
And so you've got to kind of skirt all around them and piece it all together through deductive reasoning and such. But it's more and more people when they watch movies, and you can get this because of the internet services, not because of Netflix, so to speak. YouTube and Amazon, all the services, people are watching in doses. So they basically are creating their own series. Yeah. So they watch in 30 to 45 minute increments for the most part. I think this is, I could be wrong on my data, but I'll check it. But about 78% of all people who watch movies that stream watch 30 to 45 minute blocks. So if it's a 3-hour movie, it doesn't matter. That's just what they're watching.
Yeah, and that's interesting because it's true. I've probably got 5 movies right now that I've started and I haven't even finished.
Exactly.
I'm like, I should finish that movie, and I never did that 5 years ago. Right? You just sit down and watch a movie.
Well, you had a rental, VHS, or you had something you had to deal with.
The good old days.
Yeah.
Blockbuster.
Dude, I miss that. Just like going out with your girlfriend, your wife, and
that was like a family night.
Yeah,
you go to Blockbuster.
You get a meal, and then
or you get the popcorn, the Milk Duds, and the Coke with like 2 movies.
And I would spend at least. I was the guy that would walk 2 hours before I picked the film.
Stop,
I'm like, oh, that looks interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see what else is going on.
I just remember always trying to talk my girlfriend, whoever, out of whatever movie they wanted to get, because they always pick the worst ones. They'd always go to the section where it's some dramatic
chick flicks. You do,
and you know it's terrible just looking at it. You're like, that's going to be like a terrible movie.
Yeah, those.
Yes. Good example. Very good example.
That old Asian guy, Dan Inisanto.
Oh, see.
Look, man, he's not even a jiu-jitsu red belt. How's he giving out a red belt?
He's a jiu-jitsu black belt.
Well, not a red belt. There's a lot of black belts. I'm a black belt. I ain't giving out red belts to anybody. Just saying. Just making a point.
If Dan Inisanto decided to ordain himself as red belt, I bet nobody would say a word. They're like, it's Dan Inisanto. He's
Like, all right, we got it.
You can do what he wants to do.
I don't know, man.
The dramatic effect, man.
He trained with Bruce Lee.
It's movies.
So did Chuck Norris.
And he's also a black belt. He's also a black belt.
A black belt, not a red belt.
I love the way you're like, black belt.
No. I'm just saying.
It only took you 12 years to get it. I mean, come on.
11. Took me 11.
10 years, 7 months. Damn it! What's this?
Actually, I was almost right.
Oh yeah, they get finicky. I have a 2-year-old that thinks these are jungle gyms.
Oh, tries to swing off of them.
Yeah. So he comes in and it's always like, just stop with the start. So it's no touchy everything.
So what's So this is almost done. What you got coming up next? You gonna do another like martial arts themed movie or something else?
I don't know.
You haven't thought about it yet.
I've got a lot of thoughts. I've got a couple scripts, but the thing about a script is like even like Lion Killer. I mean that was rewritten 9-10 times.
Yeah.
So a script starts out as one thing and ends up as another thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. I want to finish this, and then I need to have something else in hand by that time. But I've got a few strong possibilities.
You look like you're excited.
Which way am I going to go?
I got some ideas. Man.
It's really interesting when you're at the stage I'm at now, where you're seeing it come together.
Yeah.
And now, so because a film is a dream, it's in your head for so many years, and then you're at the stage where everything's in the can, and you're like, you've got scenes, and I've got the whole first act, and probably a third of the second act cut, and so I can watch 18-20 minutes of it, and you're like, this was just a thought in my head. And what's really interesting is so many people came along for the ride on this, something that was just in my head. I had the same experience with I was there when Mick Maynard, when he just had an idea to throw fights. We used to roll, we were at Elite, and I remember one time we just rolled, and he's like, I always say crikey when I do Mick, but he never says crikey, but crikey, I think I'm gonna start and throw some fights. And I'm like, whatever.
What was it first called up at College Station? It was Texas.
Lone Star Beatdown.
Lone Star Beatdown.
Yeah.
I remember breaking down the cages.
Yeah.
Before they take them up.
Then we were there, because I used to put up, break down. Then I judged. Then I match made, and then I actually ran some of them.
Yeah.
It
was like all volunteer. Everybody just, hey, everybody show up. We're gonna break down the cage. Anybody wants to go up there and put it up? And
dude. I remember one time we came back.
Now look at them.
One time we came back, and I went home and I was asleep, and they called me and they're like, "Hey, can you come up?" I guess we all forgot to take it down, because that was the cage that they had at Elite.
Yeah.
They would just take that one down and bring it there before they got their own cage. But so I mean, it's really interesting, because I didn't believe Mick when he was like, I'm gonna throw fights. Yeah, who does that, right?
Yeah.
Look at how that story played out. And so it's the same thing with like, I'm gonna make a movie, and I think a lot of my friends, are like, in their head, you can see in their eyes, like, you're not gonna make a movie. You can't just make a movie when with a lot of determination. But it's amazing that the cast, the crew, all the extras, the jiu-jitsu community of Houston and beyond. Some people came in from out of town just to be extras, unpaid.
Nice.
They all went along for the ride, which is kind of really like humbling and crazy, and kind of like really, I'm really taken aback by the community, because I mean, what it's like. You can get kind of bitter with the jiu-jitsu community at times. Sometimes you can just start looking at negatives. And so I had experiences that were great, and I had experiences in jiu-jitsu that weren't so great, and then to have people come back and just kind of say, we want to support you, is kind of like, it was really special, So
I mean, they bought into the story.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if it's a story,
because
I don't know if they even saw the story. But
your story of creating the movie.
Yeah, they bought into me, just the enthusiasm, or just saying, hey, we're going to do this, and we're going up the mountain, and hey, come along with me.
Yeah.
Which is,
That's big, man.
Yeah, it really is big, and some people just did it for a day, but still, like you said, you got plenty of stuff. Everybody's got plenty of stuff. You get married, you got kids,
People are busy.
Yeah. So, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Script writing. Okay. Developing. Everybody has their own method, right?
Yeah.
That does it.
And that's super interesting to me. Everyone's method, like the David Mamet method, is pretty. Because all I do is I honestly
You're
like
gonna
Google
keep- you're
David
gonna keep
Mamet.
coming back to-
Dude, he's such a brilliant
Look, I
writer.
didn't say
He's got a
not brilliant
Pulitzer for a
writer.
reason, is all I'm
I
saying.
didn't say
Yeah.
he's not a brilliant writer. The Red Belt movie is not my favorite. Look, here's the thing. I love jujitsu, right? You love jujitsu.
Yeah.
I've had this discussion with other people who love jujitsu, who spent at least a decade training jujitsu, maybe more. And everybody just was super excited that someone was finally doing a movie. This is before your movie came out, or was coming out.
Where
Finally-
ours isn't similar, so.
but someone was, oh shit, there's going to be a movie about jujitsu. Holy
Yeah.
shit. And it's not
It was
never.
in all the magazines.
It wasn't Never
Yeah.
Back Down. It wasn't whatever those bullshit ass MMA movies were. That was horrible things.
In
But
the
it's gonna-
ring.
this is going to
Yeah.
be a serious movie about jujitsu. And then I think we were just like, oh, what is this? Like, what's all this craziness and drama and people killing themselves and his wife's dumping them for money? And then, okay, Daniel Santos giving out red belts at the end, and there's 15 flying arm bars in one fight. Like, it was a little nuts. It was a little bit much.
I like when he did the flip.
Which flip?
That's the whole crux of the movie. He does the escape.
Oh, yeah,
And-
at the very end?
yeah.
Okay. I have to see. I've watched it like twice. I think the second time was on accident because I saw someone in a gi, and I was like, "Oh shit, someone's in."
I will literally like put that in the DVD once a month, like to study
You know
his
why you have to
writing
put it in the
technique, to
DVD?
study how he wrote
You have to
it.
put it in DVD
Because I'm old and
it's-
still have a DVD.
Because that's the only place you can find it. It's not going to be on a streaming service. It's not going to be any place else because ain't nowhere else.
Yeah, actually, it's on Amazon. Look it up.
Oh, so yeah. We have that. Jason's gonna have that blood pressure.
Because actually,
medication.
because it was, because it was, I don't know. It's just his writing really fascinates me. But back to your question on, or how his process of writing, and he's really, if you like, listen to his interviews or whatnot, he's super pragmatic about his approach to things and how even acting and directing, how he talks to actors, just very like straightforward and just go over there, hit your mark,
Yeah.
very simple stuff. But are you interested in my process or how I?
More,
put
I mean, more your
together, or-
process, yeah. Because it's because some people they'll make a storyboard. Some people write a bunch of notes. Some people write a story and then convert the story
Yeah.
into a script. And
I'd have to, dude. I did so much stuff because like I said, I really, I've written a few scripts, but this was the first one, and so I believe I never storyboarded it, which is interesting because I'm an artist.
Yeah.
But I think because it's so visual, it was always in my head. We did use, when we shot, we used reference frames. So you find a picture that's similar to what's in your head. And like, hey, this is our reference. But I know that I had a timeline. I had things I want to have happen. And then I would, instead of like traditional, what I actually did was create like a word, or I think I actually used pages on Mac and just like bullet points.
Yeah.
So this scene, this happens, and just bullet points all the way down. And then I could just move that bullet point up or down. It's pretty much what I did. And you know what I actually did, and I just remember this now that you're saying, I did a flow chart.
Okay.
Before I did the bullet points.
Okay.
And I think I referenced the flow chart when I did the bullet points. So I actually had a flow chart with the arrows going and and all that. So scene one, this, boom, 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 and that really helps me just get a grasp on it visually. I would say storyboarding is great for any feature like this. You probably don't have the time. You could storyboard a couple scenes or something, but really the reference frames, just pulling out an image, maybe it's from a movie, maybe it's from a magazine, but hey, this image right here.
Yeah.
Let's try our best to try to capture that.
Well, and then the flow chart too. I mean, that's your map.
Yeah.
And that helps. A lot of times when you watch movies, you're probably gonna bring your fucking red belt back up or whatever.
I'm not
When
going
you-
to bring
when
it
you
up.
bring it up.
Yeah, you get.
Before we're done, he'll be like, "It was a good movie." I
You're like,
think,
hey,
I think
you
it
know,
really
it was
was.
all
Sticking
right.
to my
Hey, can I
guns.
borrow the DVD? Look
Nope. Sticking to my
Danny
guns.
Santo train with Bruce. I'm gonna do some JKD.
Oh, I love that. That's the best. But the flow charts, it keeps things, because obviously any good story you're gonna have branches.
Yeah.
So your lead characters are gonna go off and do something on their own independently. So that kind of helps keep everything flow together. And I'm saying that like we all know this, but sometimes people listening are like, oh, okay, then that makes sense why I would do a flow chart.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like they don't know.
Yeah, and then
obviously,
like I said, maybe I want to delete something or move a scene. I could, I could do that. It was just a visual reference, and so I did that, and then wrote and rewrote. When I originally wrote it, it was like a studio style, big tournament scene, and then it's like I'm gonna do this as a micro budget independent feature. You rewrite it, and I actually went back to reference something David Mamet said, which he said when he edits, what he does is he goes back and or like when he's writing, he goes back and he removes everything from the script to the point if I removed one more thing, the script wouldn't work.
Okay.
So he just cuts out all the fat.
Oversimplifies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if he gets to the point where if it's just if I remove this one thing, this is the last thing, then the script won't work. He keeps that one thing, and then he's got.
Yeah.
So basically, I did that. I just deleted characters, deleted scenes, deleted stuff that was just kind of, do we really need that? Does it push it forward?
Yeah.
And then so 95 pages ended up being like 72 pages, which was kind of like another stressful thing. Like, do I have enough? 70. Usually it's a minute per page on the film on the screen.
Yeah.
So you're like 70 minutes. The problem with 70, that's still a 70-minute movie with credits. You're looking at 75, 80. Okay, that's a movie. But then everything you start when you edit, you just start cutting stuff more, and then you cut whole scenes, and then you cut half of a scene, then you cut this dialogue, and you just start cutting. So I'm in that phase right now where I'm looking at the timeline, and I'm like, please let there be enough movie here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's the minimum for considered feature?
Like for competitions, like minimum's 45 minutes, but nobody wants to watch a 45-minute. That's just an extended short film, right? So me personally, I feel like when I watch a movie, especially now with streaming, an hour, I mean, probably is the sweet spot if you're watching something on Netflix. Like you said, people start and stop so much stuff. If you had an hour,
that's
probably
two-stop, or one stop,
probably,
but two.
It's probably the sweet spot. Then some people go 90 minutes. I think historically with theatrical, I would say 90 minutes with theatrical, like 60 with streaming.
Yeah,
It's kind of amazing how much like films have changed.
It is. It's incredible.
10 years.
Yeah.
15 years. Like ever
5
since,
even.
5 years.
Yeah.
It's amazing what we watch now, what we look for.
Oh
like
yeah.
It's pretty incredible because he's right. Like an hour is like a sweet spot. If you get an hour, well, take it a couple of different ways. If you get now a lot of these series that come out, and you're talking like an hour. Actually, I think that one I was just telling you about, that one on Vietnam I was watching. Each little episode was 2 hours long, but the subject matter is so. There's so much depth and so much to it that each one has to be 2 hours long. I think it was like 7 or 8 episodes. It took me forever to get through it. But then other ones, just one little 1 hour story is all it takes, and it's perfect for what you want to watch. So it's amazing.
If you go through Netflix and don't really select anything, but go open up all the little deals where you can see the times, 42 minutes, 46 minutes, 42, 44, 45, 46. It's literally, that's just
and
the
those,
magic.
Those normally would have been the hour episode on network.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Without the commercials, it's 45 minutes. Yeah.
And who goes to, like, how often do you go to a movie now? Like, it has to be, I know for me, and I know for a lot of people I know, it has to be something you really want to see.
Like a David Mamet film.
Depending on the David Mamet film. But, it has to be something you really, really want to see, that you want to spend the time and the money on. Because it's a whole night versus something you can, cannot wait for that to come out on.
And it's expensive. So, I feel like the same thing. It's really got to be a spectacle or a super niche indie. Like I really feel this would probably do well theatrically because jiu-jitsu people are just everywhere. It's amazing.
It's
I mean,
so much.
when I'm doing the shirts, one of the guys who's doing the shirts with our printer, our screen printer, he's a purple belt at Revolution.
Yeah.
Then I go in to buy patches to cover up like logos. So we used like, American or Brazilian patches to cover up brands. And that guy's, he trains over at another gym. And there were so many people that I was doing business with it, all were trained jiu-jitsu. It's like, dude, no one realizes we're
out there.
We've just infiltrated, and no one even understands.
It's true. And I'll be someplace, and someone will ask me, "Do you train?" And they're just started training, or they've been training, and you just sometimes you kind of recognize each other. Through whatever, and it's true. There's a lot of it's growing a lot, and so I think your movie should do pretty good because I think jiu-jitsu people. There could be more movies like that I think would do well, especially among jiu-jitsu people, because I think most jiu-jitsu people have a pretty strong passion for.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty obvious.
Oh
right?
yeah,
and we know this. So if you get a movie about something you're passionate about, fuck yeah, you want to see it. You're like, I want to see that shit.
Curious on, and this is obviously this film, but like future type things, and with modern jiu-jitsu tournaments. So take where you're going in 2 weeks.
3 days.
You're leaving 3 days?
You're doing Worlds?
Yeah, I got Worlds coming.
Yeah.
Good luck, man.
Would those or other similar tournaments, in an attempt to try to capture the real feel of it, would they allow people to film?
Oh, hell yeah. I think
Does that make sense? Like you come,
Big
you get all your
studio,
broad stuff.
Something like us, we'd have to like guerrilla it.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
which is so cool because shooting with a DSLR, people just think you're taking pictures.
That's kind of the whole
stuff,
point, yeah.
But like, if a studio got behind it, I guarantee they would open. Like if you had like, a major star, a couple major stars, a big studio backing it, they would, or even, shoot there at night when they're not.
Well, see, my whole idea is they capture that. So actually, when it's going on, pay them for one of the mats.
There's a lot of people
so
who
you can
do
get your actors.
You just have to get everybody on camera to sign a waiver.
That's the hard part.
Well, there's a lot of videos that get put out at these tournaments, and I'm trying to think of some offhand. And you see them; they'll show so like Stuart Cooper films or whatever. He does a lot of stuff. He shows a lot of.
Is it like YouTube type stuff or?
I guess that's what. Is that all he's doing?
Well, I think on
Stuart Cooper.
I'm not familiar.
Well, he does a lot of jiu-jitsu stuff. He films a lot of jiu-jitsu filming. I've seen him do it at ADCC. I've seen him do IBJJF tournaments. Does a lot of interviews with little short 15, 20 minute deals with different.
It's a little different when you're with a film and you're dealing. When you start dealing with a distributor, they have certain boxes they have to check.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And certain insurances to cover anyone who might go to a movie and see themselves in a film and say, "Hey, I never signed."
Yeah.
So I mean, putting up on you, even like I know what you mean, because a lot of the stuff is super high quality that you see, and even making $1 from your YouTube channel or your Vimeo or whatever. When you start dealing with like in the film business with like a distributor and just all the deliverables, it's different. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's all CYA, man.
Yeah. Because it's on like the YouTube level. You can pretty much put a little disclaimer on every athlete's entry form. You're covered. But the second you're going to put it on a feature film or short that's going to be distributed or potentially picked up,
could be worldwide even.
You got to have the full.
That would be really interesting. I do think that would be a lot of fun to show what it's like, how intense it is. There's so much intensity in those tournaments.
From your mouth to God's ear. The second film. We're shooting it at Worlds 2019.
Oh, that'd be awesome. There's so much intensity in all these little matches. And there's so many going on.
So much drama even on the mat, but even off the mat.
Yeah.
You're seeing stuff. You're seeing the people on, the people on the sides coaching and yelling and cheering. The warm up, the little bullpen where everybody's warming up.
Yeah.
Even the feeling when the Brazilians start going off and they start doing their thing, you're like, oh man, this is awesome.
It is. It's very intense. I'm excited right now thinking about it.
And now jiu-jitsu has a Bobby Knight.
Oh no, I don't know if we want to get into
that
topic today.
You saw the chair throw?
Oh yeah,
That's Bobby Knight, because he was with Indiana, the head coach of Indiana, and he's the one that's basketball.
Yeah.
He's the big one that would always throw chairs out into the basketball court and the whole thing.
Yeah.
Is he still teaching? I mean,
no. He does commentation.
He's too old. Well, I don't say too old, but he's been out for a minute.
He's a special commentator for certain basketball things.
No, I remember he was.
Didn't he get popped choking some guy? One kid. He got.
That was the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. He choked a kid in practice, and someone got it on video.
Yeah.
Coincidentally choking somebody.
I'm slapping players like I'm Bob Knight choking players like I'm Spreewell. It's a
Spreewell.
Brother Ali ride.
Yeah, man.
Man, I forgot about that. That's going way back.
Brother Ali.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's a rapper.
Yeah. Okay, so is there any estimated release date?
No, I mean it's an independent, so the goal is have it done for festival season 2019, and hopefully get some good results out of that, and hopefully sell or license, Lion Killer, and if not, like I said, I mean I'm very confident and very excited about the possibility of even releasing it myself because of the audience of jiu-jitsu, and all I really need is help from people like you guys to get the word out. So, once people hear that, hey, there's a jiu-jitsu film, like you were excited before David Mamet crushed your dreams.
He did. He crushed it. I was.
I mean, I think it's the same thing. But to your credit, or to prove your point, this movie does focus more on what it's actually like, to be in that world. You know what I mean? What's it like when you see people, when you hit the mats? What's that feeling like? You know what I mean? And the mentality of a person that has gone through hard times and achieved a black belt. How does that person really think and perceive the world? So of course this is all subtext, but it's all part of the film and part of my mentality when I was making it. You know, so
so you're gonna subtitle it, yeah? You have somebody to do that?
Well, you mean subtitle or like put it in other languages?
Other languages.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a few resources online that charge like $1 a minute. Caption it.
Yeah.
To caption it.
Sorry. Yeah.
So that shouldn't be too expensive. So, and I would like to release it in some other countries, you know.
That's what I mean, because obviously jiu-jitsu is it's an international, such an international deal.
What would your advice be? Would Brazil be the first place to like do it in Portuguese, or?
I mean, you have to do it in Portuguese because it's jiu-jitsu. I mean, so that's a mandatory. And then being your focal group here is, I would just say Portuguese and Spanish first, and then.
See, I'm thinking like the Asian market might be. You know, it just seems like thematically things about, you know, that kind of.
Yeah, I think that would be like maybe a second step though,
you know,
or the third step really. So if you go, so the first one out, obviously it's in English, so you don't have to do it.
And with I was thinking because you know our female lead, you know, Regina Ting Chen, you know, I think you know that might actually even be good in, you know, that continent, you know, or you know, region of Asia, I should say.
Yeah. But, it could be, and I mean, and again here, especially Houston, man. There's so many pockets of international.
Yeah.
Just the diversity of it going across. So I mean, you could test it so easily here before you do any kind of big disbursement or distribution. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll definitely have the community come out. You know.
Well, of course, man.
As long as there's no fights, like what gym owners mad at the other gym owner? They don't talk. You don't look at me. You don't look. You stay over there. Like, oh my God.
Have the cameras rolling, man.
Y'all been fighting for 15 years, bro.
It's like it's just a movie, man. It's just a movie. Some free popcorn. Yeah.
How did he bring a chair into a movie theater? He brought that. Yeah. He brought that chair. He didn't. There was no chair. He just brought it. Brought a fold-out chair to throw it.
That's so awesome, man. Get the.
Can't have that.
What's some of your just some of your favorite parts? Things you might have done differently.
Oh my God, dude! It's so interesting to do a film and then, like, I'm listening to old podcasts of like Tarantino or Mamet, and like after I've made a feature, and it's interesting, just like you kind of feel like you're grown up or something. Like now I can understand. You know, it's kind of like first time you saw an armbar, it was magic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was like this is the most magical thing, and then you know you've been doing arm bars for 15 years. It's kind of like you can understand subtle tweaks that you wouldn't understand the first time you stepped on the mat. So, you know, I feel like I'm re-listening to podcasts of filmmakers and kind of catching different nuggets that I didn't catch, because this is what's interesting about directing. You don't do it much, but you call yourself a director, right? So an average director, if I'm somebody who's, I'm a filmmaker and I do short films, okay, you can shoot those in a weekend.
Yeah.
How many did you do last year? I did 1 or 2. Okay, you did 4 days on set. That's 4 days on set out of the entire year. Will you ever get a black belt going to, 4 times a year to, so you don't do it. You don't get to practice it much.
Yeah.
You don't get to drill it much. And doing a feature, it's like, we did 23 days on set. Yeah. So it's like at the end of that, what would I do different? Probably most everything, you know. I was lucky I had a really good cast, a really good crew, but learning to communicate to different people, whether it's the actors, whether it's the, this department or that department, everybody understands things differently, or your approach to delivering, to get a result has to be different, because you're trying to get a certain result, but everybody hears a different thing, so learning how to communicate with multiple, personalities and skill sets, really being the guy with all the answers, that has to have all the answers all the time, So, and it's another funny thing on set. It's really like, if you're a director, you don't have to have the answers. You just have to look like you do.
And that's so much of it.
Is
that fake it till you make it?
Yes.
Kind of, yeah.
Do you want him in the green shirt or the blue shirt? The green shirt. It's like,
just you got to roll. Yeah.
You've got to kind of, and there's times that I would talk to people, and we would talk about the intent of this shirt he's going to wear.
Yeah.
What with this character, is it true to this, but then there's other times where things you just got to kind of, be the guy. So there's just a lot of everything I would do differently. But you also got to understand, this is like I said, a micro budget feature done with no money. So what my team and I accomplished is kind of really a miracle. When you look at the footage, it's really, really good footage.
Yeah.
Looks really well. So,
well, so much. So here's, I'm questions for myself and maybe people watching. Is there a resource or group or network of people? So let's say, Bob over here wants to do a film, right? Super interested in it, great writer, really creative, has all of the things, but just is intimidated by it.
Yeah.
Is there some way he can get into on the early stages contacting you? Hey, I just want to volunteer for this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna help.
I mean,
want to learn more. Can I do this?
That's the best. Yeah, that's the best way to get on with anything volunteering. But you know, the thing about that is, people also have to like you once you're on set.
Exactly.
You know, so you come on set, be likable, be a hustler. Don't be lazy. Don't be late. Have people like you and volunteer, and you'll really connect with a community of people.
Yeah.
You know, there's resources, especially in Houston. There's Swamp. Then there's, you know, Facebook groups that you could you know, put yourself out there. But so many people, like, you know, even some of the actors I worked with, you know, they didn't want to come back and do an indie, you know, because they had done shorts in Houston and people didn't feed them, didn't take care of them, maybe hollered at them, maybe, you know, so it was just a bad situation. So, you know, and I think my crowdfunding really helped show people, hey, this guy's serious. You know, this guy's out. He's really hustling. He's putting in a lot of work. So, you know, some of those actors came on that I think, you know, were kind of trigger shy in the beginning. And then, you know, what we built was a family. So towards the end, now people are like texting, oh, it's the first weekend we're not on set. What are we going to do? You know, like people are missing each other. Yeah. You really go to battle. You really go through hell. You fight. You know,
I mean, it's a temporary family, man.
Yeah, it is a family, you know, so we did all those things, you know, and then at the end of it, everybody's sad it's over, you know, so it's, you know, I feel really blessed, you know, to be given the opportunity. It's crazy.
That's a cool deal, man.
You know?
Yeah. I was just watching the process, and then I was trying to get Derrick on with a month or two ago, or whatever. He was like, dude, can't, busy, film, like, dude. I'm like, no.
4 hours sleep,
no stress. Like, we just, whenever, man, whenever. But it's learning the processes. Yeah. That's a cool deal.
Are you going to release any like little short scenes or anything before you actually bring it out? Or?
I've got one with Sid. I wanted to email him to see if it was okay, because I didn't want to put it out there, because it's because when we were doing the stuff with the tournament scene, a lot of the fight scenes we didn't have time to choreograph them like you would do on regular film. So I got people I knew that could roll, and then they would do something like, hey, stop right there, back that up 3 steps, do it again, we're gonna get that from another angle. You know, and with Sid, he was upside down and the guy's head was in his garage. I'm like, freeze. All right, move camera, and Sid was just upside down with this guy. And I'm like, I cut it, and I'm like, I'm gonna put that on the social. I'm like, maybe I should ask Sid first. Maybe he doesn't want me to. Like,
I bet Sid would be pretty cool with that. Sid's a laid back dude.
You know, so I still didn't send it to him. But so yeah, but even that, like, you know, editing the whole feature, it would be great if I had an intern or somebody I could just give a bunch of footage, like, hey, cut a bunch of cool little scenes. We're just gonna, you know, just the excerpts or the bloopers or the, you know.
Have you talked to the U of H people? Because I know they have all their graduate program people that are required to do projects like that.
I should. I talked to the HCC people about, you know, interns, and, you know, they approved me. But then again, it's like, it takes time to hustle and get people to come on, and then you're like, you know. Then my concern after that is I'm the kind of guy that's like very like, I'll just do it myself, you know. Yeah. Let's get it done. If it's not done yet, well, I'll just take care of that. You know what I mean?
You got to stop that, man.
You know, it's rough when you know what I mean? It's,
no, I know.
Like,
that's what I'm telling you. I know exactly where you are. But
honestly, this film helped, because it's so much of that is like, you've got to put things in other people's hands, and you've got to trust these people that they've got your vision. Yeah. They've got that. That's their best interest, you know. So it was good to like be able to trust some people, and then the whole time you're looking like, oh. You know, and then it comes back and it's how you wanted it. It's the way their brain works versus the way your brain works. And my brain, I think, is very like linear, you know, A to B, you know. And a lot of people, you know, oh yeah, we'll just think about that for a while.
Well, because it's tough in it, but that's everything. Every business, every project, everything. It's the leaders. It's work on it, not in it. On it, not in it. Because the second you're in it, spin your wheels too much.
Yeah, it's too much. You can't do everything. You can't do everything. But I'll look into that U of HC. Yeah. You know, because it's a good project, and it'd be good. I think it was a great learning experience for everybody, myself included. I probably learned the most. But
and they do, because we've used them for different things, and they do a great job, because it's, I mean, their grade depends on it. Okay. Like, do you want the piece of paper or not?
Yeah.
Because that's where they are in the whole program, and it takes them a month or two or whatever. But I mean, still, I mean, just get it out, man. It helps.
I'll look into it. Give me some information. I'll look into it.
And it's free.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I didn't put the free part on there.
yeah.
That's
I know.
always the
This
best
is
part.
independent film, man.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. We're not
Yeah.
paying.
Yeah.
If it's what we spend the most money on is crafty, man. Everybody's eating, everybody's having fun. You know, nobody's making a bunch of money, but we're all fed and we're all happy. You know,
Hell yeah.
we're gonna do a rap party. You guys should come.
Yeah, hell yeah,
You know,
that'd be, yeah.
hadn't figured out where. We might do it where we shot it. We shot it at a buddy of mine, Joseph Sanrose, has a Taekwondo school.
Okay.
And he has an extra room, and I put my mats in there. We painted the walls, so we had like the main gym, which we just turned his mats over. He had like section off like some red and blue, and we just turned them all blue, and they look kind of like the blue mats at the jiu-jitsu school.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have it out there. It's rock solid Taekwondo. Gotta give them a shout out because they really, I've known him since he was probably 7 because I used to work at the jiu-jitsu school his dad, owned and whatnot. And just stayed in touch with him, but told him I want to do a jiu-jitsu movie. I want to shoot it at his gym. And he literally made me keys.
Oh, nice.
And
That's pretty awesome.
yeah, anytime that we're not doing Taekwondo, just come in here and shoot. So we shot, every weekend there, and still got the keys on me. So, we'll have a rap party over there. So,
Awesome.
So that's what's really great about, like, you want to do a independent feature film. How do you do it cheap? Well, you've got to utilize what you have access to.
Yeah.
And in my case, there were people that I thought would do this much that did that much.
Well, that's what you're going to find.
Yeah.
Is that people that are committed to. I just
The
keep
relationship
saying the story,
you
but
guys
yeah,
have
I
or
mean,
something,
what you have, and that's it's just huge, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so big.
So there was a lot of instances like that where thought somebody would just do, or somebody maybe they couldn't participate in your crowdfunding, and I'm not going to take it. Like everybody's in. I don't know what your.
Yeah.
You might be anything going on with your finances just because I think you own a business doesn't think, and then those people would come back and just donate their time or their services or let you shoot in their location, and you're like, well, if I'm shooting in your location, that's really, if we're in the South, it's like $600, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's still money.
Yeah, that's exactly. So I would just advise people, like, you do a crowdfunding, don't take things personally.
Yeah,
some people can contribute here, but they can't contribute there. Just and then utilize the people that okay, I can depend on this person.
Yeah.
We shot at my buddy Tony Villa's. He does book bindery. If you ever want to have like a book bound, like professional and really leather, whatever you want, he does it. But we were in there, and he's got this really cool little art space, close to downtown. And my designer, my production designer, she's like, how'd you pick this place? I said, I know Tony. I know he'd let me shoot here for free. Yeah. That's my mentality. Like he would let me shoot here for free because I know he's a good guy. And I didn't know when we walked in, it's like the colors of papers and just everything's like, you don't have to do anything here. It just looks like $1 million in here. I didn't know that. It's just a happy accident, And
with all those textures and the
exactly.
I mean,
and then he has a bunch of old school binding equipment, just like old school wheels and old school cutters and old school,
so
stuff that looks kind of like torture kind of devices, but like he's really all this like old stuff. And I'm like, man, this stuff looks great. And then like even like a club boost. I don't know if you're familiar. That's the hat I'm wearing. He does his gis and rash guards and all that stuff. So he came and just donated a bunch of gis. So most of the gis you see, because like I said, the issue is we'd have to cover up, other brands. So he just donated a bunch of gis. And when I laid the gis out, I'm like, retail. This is probably thousands of dollars retail worth of stuff that this guy just donated. So
see, that's just, can you do that in crowdfunding? Is there a way to put volunteering?
Yeah, well, on the one I use, which is Seed and Spark, people can donate funds, but then there's also like a wish list.
Yeah, okay.
So let's say I want to shoot on a red camera, and you want to donate a red camera for 3 days of the shoot or the whole shoot, you can donate that.
Okay.
I don't know if Kickstarter, but Seed and Spark does do
that. But they did, okay. Those one, as you're saying that, I'm like, wait, can you? Yeah, that's a cool. Yeah. I get frustrated sometimes when I see crowdfunding. And I'm like, I know 30,000 people are following this dude. If everybody gave $2, $2, literally $2, then they're going to be over budget, or make more than what they're even requesting. I see all the time. I get a little frustrated. And I'm like, it's just $2, man. Like nobody, like, come on, I get a little frustrated.
It's not even a Starbucks coffee.
Thank you.
Are you doing anything for this? Are you doing like Patreon or anything for this show? Or
no, not yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
No, it's really basically no advertising market as far as spending any kind of money. It's just word of mouth. And then we've consistently, I think it's been 2 months now, I'll say 2 months, that we've been at or above 10,000 listens download per episode.
That's a lot of pressure you're putting on me, man. If this is the first one that dips below.
I'm telling you, no,
There's
it goes.
no way. There's
Yeah,
no way.
no,
You're gonna,
no.
for sure. There's no
But
way.
it's I mean, it's a cool deal. So my whole thing is just that it hadn't been a year yet. I think right around November 1st is a year of me doing this. So I did a few before. I think I was 11 or 12 before you came in. Give or take a little bit, before I yanked him in here. But it's just a cool deal. So I mean, this is 46th one now.
Are we on 46?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
and it's
Time
so many.
flies.
No shit. So it's right around
Y'all do this
30.
every week too.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Wow.
much.
So it's pretty much every Monday.
You're running
and
out of
then-
people in Houston, man.
No, not
We
even
actually
close,
just
man.
started really pulling people in.
Yeah.
And Houston is extremely diverse. I don't think we'll
Yeah.
have any problems.
There's
finding
so many
people.
millions of people around here. It's
There's
ridiculous.
a lot of super interesting people here in Houston that are involved in a lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't
That's
think
true.
that's an issue. Houston's a great town. We are very underrated.
The most difficult part is getting people on the side of town
Yeah.
Oh,
because
I know.
it seems like
literally
every,
16 minutes from my house is what my phone says.
Oh shit! Awesome. See, and that's next door in Houston.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, that's
the truth.
in Houston. That's next door. People are
Yeah.
like 20 minutes away. I'm like, yeah, I could walk there. You know,
Yeah,
almost.
yeah.
You can't, but you know, yeah.
For sure.
But that's cool, man. I mean, it's a cool deal to watch you go through this process.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I really wish I could document it from beginning to end, especially like producing with my wife, which was interesting.
Yeah.
You know, that challenged our relationship in a lot of ways, but ultimately, you know, we grew and got closer for it. But yeah, it's the filmmaking process. I know what you mean. It's super interesting. Is there any other part you were interested in?
no, I mean, a lot of it is sort of like, I try to give value to people watching
Yeah.
and listening. And one, I think you should do this next one. Whenever you start on your next project, that's what you use your interns for. Is
Like documenting Gary V style?
Gary V style.
Yeah.
To just because that's what people want. I mean, they want to see the
Yeah.
final product, obviously. So you're not going to give away the film.
Yeah. As long as I have Final Cut
Yeah.
on what they're
Right.
putting.
You
It's
know?
about, if they document it, and you can slowly release little bits. And
Yeah, but they're not really
start to drum it up
documenting the
interest.
movie or the feature
the
film.
making of the movie.
Yeah,
right.
the making.
Story,
So
the
the
process.
interactions and you talking, or the director talking to the actors and actresses
Right.
and trying to spell.
And you can
this
kind of release that throughout the making of
Yeah.
the film to drum up interest. And
That's
I
the
mean,
whole
I
idea
would
of it.
think that would be
Yeah.
cool. It'd be something I'd be like, wow, it would kind of keep me going a little bit.
You hit the whole
following
Gary
it.
V
Yeah.
thing, which I mean, what he says is beyond the truth. That I mean, people they want to see the journey, not the final product.
Yeah, I agree.
So
with
like,
that.
if you go and
You
you
can
win,
monetize the journey though. So
that's
I mean,
exactly
Yeah,
that's the
absolutely.
whole
Yeah,
point.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's where the interest is. And so like, if you go and you win Masters, and you're showing pictures with your trophy, that's cool.
Yeah, but no one
But
really. You're right.
people want to see how you got there over you
It's so
holding up
much
a
more
trophy.
interesting to see someone go through a process
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the ups and downs and the challenges and the overcoming an obstacle that popped up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is because that's what a real story is.
Yeah.
And then when you see the final product, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But I agree. If you watch someone's journey through whatever it is that they're going through, it can be anything. It's super interesting just to see them overcome that stuff.
I think that's what you should use the free interns for next time.
I like
think
it.
That's
so.
my idea.
No,
I don't
I do
know.
like
Yeah.
it. I do like it. I do like it. I like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just the whole.
'Cause then more people get interested along the way, then maybe the crowdfunding jumps a little more.
Yeah.
Maybe you monetize some of that little stuff along the way. I mean, it's just.
Well, I
one
hope
of
to
those-
never have to do a crowd. I pray to the Lord I never have to do crowdfunding. Is the worst experience of your life. It is well
Yeah.
because it doesn't stop. It is literally 24/7.
Yeah.
So at work I'm doing this. At home
Yeah.
I'm doing this because you've got goals you need to meet. You need to have X amount funded by this date. You
Yeah.
need to have X amount funded by that date.
Mm-hmm.
And you've really got to push it. You've really got to tell people. And really with myself, I was like, I've got a lot of friends, a lot of people that, I know nobody's getting off the hook. You're going to have to tell me, no, I can't donate. I'm for this one time in my life, you're going to have to say, I can't donate. And you can't donate, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't want to leave it where, your friends will be like, oh, that's over? Why don't you tell me, bro? You know how your friends do that, right?
know. Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't give anybody that excuse
Yeah.
that, I didn't
Yeah.
let you know that it was the last day.
Yeah.
So literally the last day, I'm like,
Just
10 minutes
killing
before,
it.
guy, individual
Yeah.
on my text messages, you know what I mean?
So there's no denying it.
Yeah, you've got to be like, I had people like, hey, I'm not in a place right now.
Yeah.
No problem. I only had one guy who's like, hey man, get me off your mail, your text list. I'm like, this isn't a text list. This is I know you personally and I'm
Yeah.
texting you, but I will no longer contact. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But can't take it personally. Like
Can't
you said.
take it personally, and who knows if that guy will come back around. But even if he doesn't, there's so many people that were just, you know, hey, I want to, you know, come on and give you $500.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, dude, I barely know you, but God bless you. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
you know, so, and the thing is to be that to somebody else as well, not just to take, but also hopefully, you know, to be in a position to help other filmmakers or people starting jiu-jitsu gyms or whatever, you know, to not be only a taker, but also a person that's giving as well. So,
I mean, it all cycles back.
yeah.
The stronger your foundation is, I mean, of your network and of your things like that. So it's
Well, you won't have a network if you're just taking.
no,
Yeah.
that will
catch on
dissipate
pretty
in a
quick.
hurry.
Yeah, that's the truth right
You
there.
know.
Exactly.
That's 100%.
Get out. Okay, so you have the website.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we've got for Lion Killer, we've got all our social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah.
All of it's at Lion Killer Film.
Yes.
So Facebook at Lion Killer Film, Twitter at Lion Killer Film, Instagram, IG at Lion Killer
IG.
Film.
Like that. Like that. Are
The
some,
Seed and Spark as well, because you can still follow us on Seed and Spark because we do
Okay.
do updates specific for that site, which is seedandspark.com/Lion Killer.
Okay.
And the T-shirts, we are going to start selling them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Show what you
Yeah,
got
let me
one.
grab
You
this
can
one.
Grab it real quick. So yeah, we've got tanks in and T-shirts in. I think the tanks are going to be a lot more popular, but yeah. So I probably need to do that this week.
I like those.
So we
Pretty
yeah,
good.
Get that up in a hurry.
we've got them in stock, and
So
you know.
this is it. Now you're gone. I was gonna put Nature's logo on there, but I couldn't do it. But it's the. I mean, how do you call it? Like it's the good material. I
Yeah,
don't even
yeah,
say it
yeah.
Like it's the
Oh, it is actually is a good nice material.
form fitting. I don't know what the right word is for that material.
Athletic fit.
Athletic.
Well, yeah, it's not like rash guards. Although I've thought about
Yeah.
doing some rash guards,
Oh.
but I think the tanks will be even
Do
more
rash
popular.
guards would be dope with it.
Yeah, I
Saying
thought about
Lion
doing
Killer on it.
Yeah,
That would be.
yeah,
Yeah, that would be
I've
pretty
thought
good.
about it. You think it'd sell because
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot of positive about the tanks because it's
I,
a gym rat mentality. You know,
Yeah.
wear a tank.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I love a cool rash guard. A Lion Killer would be.
I think the jiu-jitsu community would really like the
Yeah.
rash
Yeah.
guards. Yeah.
You could do limited run.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
still already have
sure.
the screen and everything, so you
Yeah.
just need the blanks.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I want to do that. I want to do hats, but you know, and
Yeah.
that also fascinates me, like merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's probably ever since watching Spaceballs and when I was a kid.
Baseballs.
Yogurt, it's like merchandising, merchandising. You know, I'm like, man, that rings true. But you know, just like branding, merchandise, like all that really interests me.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like another hill to climb. You know, and I'm
It
always
is.
looking for some kind of like challenge. You know, you wouldn't
It
make a
is.
film unless you like challenge. You wouldn't do jiu-jitsu unless you like
Oh,
a challenge.
Isn't that the truth?
You know,
Yeah.
I think jiu-jitsu is probably more mentally challenging than anything else, you know. But and so is film work, you know. It's very mentally taxing, but you know, the film, like I said, hopefully we'll have January. Hopefully we'll be in some festivals, and
Yeah.
hopefully, you know, we'll eventually play here in Houston, invite the whole jiu-jitsu community out.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have a problem selling out a theater, I wouldn't think.
Oh,
you
no,
know.
I don't
No,
think so.
no,
You
no,
know,
no, no. Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu heads are out here.
There's so many little smaller niche theaters and stuff, and I mean,
Mhm.
you could even do stuff. Dulles High, you can rent it out for pennies.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so I mean, you've got this big theater with great sound systems and the whole. I mean, so you can plug into places like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
2 or 3 of the HCC campuses have smaller theaters,
Yeah.
you know, auditoriums and things. So I mean,
Yeah, the A-Leaf one definitely does.
yeah, and that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Is I mean, that's easy. You don't have to go to a theater.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's ways to accomplish it because you're not trying to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
'Cause-
and I know the cast and crew, everybody wants to see it. But let's get the audio done. Let's get
Yeah, let's get edited
let's get,
first.
Let's
And
get
there's
where
the-
there's no pops in the sound and the audio. You know.
Yeah.
Which yeah. So
No, that's awesome, man.
so definitely come to the rap party.
Oh,
Dude, we're
yeah,
there,
I'll be
yeah.
there.
And as soon as I got
Definitely
questions
go.
for you, but I'll get off, off the air.
What is some
Maybe
something,
help
something
out.
secretive or what?
No, I just, I don't want to, throw people into the bus or anything.
Okay,
on there,
all right.
and,
All right.
and that kind of pin people to things that make promises for other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
No, I
So,
got you. I
yeah.
got you. I got you.
Yeah, but I got questions for you. Get off.
Well,
Yeah,
good
we'll
deal.
do it, man.
Well,
I appreciate
you
this.
guys having
yeah,
me.
dude.
No,
I
this
just
is
hope
awesome.
it
Still
helped.
ain't answering your questions though about like specific
What?
filmmaking. No.
Oh,
You did, exactly.
Because
That-
you open.
yeah.
I don't know a lot of this stuff, and so like I don't know any of it really, and it was super interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I don't, I love movies. I love all kinds of types of movies and short films. I like YouTube films that are well done. I like all that stuff. I really enjoy it, but I've never really known what the process is
Yeah.
behind it, and I know it's very involved and well, like I do like little clip, those little defensive tactics clips, and I've gotten pretty fast on cutting them and editing them, but I'm just thinking, for like that takes me a couple minutes to really, and on
Yeah.
my freaking phone. So I'm doing it like as basic as possible.
Well, you got to think. So I'm going to give you a little on his little. They're usually about a minute long.
Yeah.
I keep,
Because
yeah, I
he
keep
put on
Instagram
he puts on
size,
IGs, right? So it's got to
Yeah,
be it's capped at a minute, right?
Yeah.
And so think about what you did and all that editing, right? Now you've got 3 other angles,
Through their angles.
and you've got to
So
adjust the
all the
lighting on
angles.
each angle.
And then I was
You got
actually
inserts.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about how do you figure out what you're going to cut out? Because you
Yeah.
kind of explained it a little bit, cutting out
Yeah.
the fat
Yeah.
if it doesn't advance the
If
story.
it doesn't push it forward. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And then there's stuff that your babies that you lines and dialogue and things that you really like that you really come to. You're like, it doesn't push it forward.
Yeah.
It's I've got to take it out.
Yeah, I
They
was
call it
gonna ask
killing
you-
your babies.
that's
and
what I
you're
was gonna
like,
ask
you
you
got to kill your
about,
babies, man. You
yeah.
got to take the stuff out that
that you really love.
that you really love. That honestly is it's just your thing and nobody else. Just like
Yeah.
teaching jujitsu, you've got to think about the students
Right.
more than yourself, right?
Exactly.
So, but this is going to be the next podcast. Me and you watch Red Belt.
Oh shit!
That would yes.
Be the best 90
I would
minutes of my life.
crush it.
So we're gonna bring back a little
I'll
Mystery
crush
Science
it.
Theater,
Yeah.
right?
We just I'm down for that.
Such a
Get
good
some
movie.
get some 40 ounces and that's right. So I say that because when I was in the Air Force, I was a cop in the Air Force too, and me and my buddy would get off at 6 a.m. We would go buy a couple 40 ounces. He would buy 2, I would buy 1. He was a nut. And we'd sit there, we'd watch Mystery Science Theater and drink 40 ounces all morning.
What brand?
OE.
OE. That
There's no
OE.
other brand.
Guys, I'm lost. I've never had alcohol in my life.
Yeah.
Really?
So like he's like, I mean, I knew 40 and all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
yeah.
Brand.
Yeah. No, we used to
Right.
sit there.
It's either
Ah,
either
that's such
OE or St. Ives or something. You know,
Yeah. That's well, he was from Jersey, and he's like, "Nah, you gotta drink this." I was like, "Okay, whatever." And I haven't had one of those in 20 years.
I think I tried one. Like I'm so civilized now. I don't know. Like for old time's sake, like maybe 5 years ago, I bought one and I like poured it in a glass. Like
Your chilled glass
oh,
still has a taste.
and you spit it out. You're like, what?
Nah,
This is not me anymore.
I'm old and lame now. I just get whatever generic beer is available at best, if I drink, which is rare now.
Yeah,
The older I get,
yeah. me neither.
actually, I've gone to whiskey more, but not in competition season. So
No
it
shit.
wrecks me. It wrecks me. But I do enjoy it sometimes.
Yeah.
So.
I saw Mike at the gym yesterday. Trent.
Oh yeah, I ran into him too. Oh, you know what? You were there, and Lisa said, "Jason's over there." Okay, we'll talk to him. We had just got done training,
Oh, so
and
I
I'm still
slipped
hitting
out,
that conditioning, trying to burn off that last couple pounds. And I saw Trent downstairs, and we were bullshitting for a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's ready to go. He's always
He's going
fucking
world.
fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude,
Oh, he's always in shape.
Yeah, Mike has no problem staying in shape. He's just.
I think
He's,
the last time I rolled real hard before I got a knee bother me, I rolled with him over
Yeah.
at Zion.
Yeah.
Me and him went out pretty good.
yeah, Mike's
He's
pretty
really
tough.
good. Yeah.
Mike's tough. He's a good dude though, and he's just always super fit.
Oh
Just
yeah.
always super fit. We should get him on the podcast.
Yeah.
He's an interesting
Yeah, he'd be
story.
great.
He's a really good success story here.
Oh yeah, from ground up. Yeah.
Yep. Now he's got that big
I'm
restaurant.
gonna go after Worlds. I was gonna go hit him harass him at his restaurant. and
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me know.
Yeah.
I'll go eat with you because
Yeah.
his food's pretty good.
We'll go bug him. Have you ever been up there?
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
crawfish up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Highway
Yeah.
6.
I'll go up there. We'll buy a whole ton of shit. take it
Mike
home.
Seafood. Highway 6.
That is.
It is very good
So
stuff.
you gotta support Mike Tren.
Yeah, Mike's a good dude.
Not this week. After this week.
How does he do
leave
it?
him
Stay
alone
in
this
shape
week.
around all that. That's why you have him on the podcast asking that.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know, man.
There's no way.
Like he's always.
Because I
just
make
on point.
crawfish and it gets eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
controls, man. It's controls. So I'll tell you. So doing the whole keto thing, right, or
Yeah.
modified keto diet.
Mhm.
I mean, you can kill a lot of stuff like that. When
Oh,
you
really?
take all those grains out and the refined
This
carbohydrates and stuff.
We won't
I
go
mean-
over the nacho story again. I think we've said that like 3 times on the
Yeah.
podcast.
People get sick of
We
it.
went to go eat, and he ordered this big pile of nachos in front of me. I'm like, God, I just can't do it. I don't have
It
the
just,
ability.
it works, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if you work
honestly.
out a little bit and give a shit, I mean, you burn it off, right? Right?
You talking to me about working?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, hell, were you trying to lose, 3 or 4 pounds?
Yeah, I'm.
It's
there.
hard when
I
you're
got
130.
I got 3.
You got, how much to go, man?
What weight class you competing in?
Lightweight.
Wait.
So I'm like 170 right now.
Yeah.
So. Piece of cake.
That's easy.
Just a couple pounds.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always right there on the edge, though. I'm always pushing it to the last second. I hate doing that, but just the way
It's the nature of it, man.
It
Put
is.
yourself a
I'm
little
excited.
pressure.
No, I'm pretty excited. Get those couple pounds off, and then get on that mat, see what happens, fight real hard. Got 48 people in my division, so.
Oh.
Yikes.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's the cutoff for masters? 35?
30.
30.
30 is starts 30 and up.
30 and up. Okay.
30 and up.
Which is that's crazy. Like 30 and
like
it's
30
kind of
years
like
old
the
is-
weight, like after like 180 or after like 220, they're like, oh, everybody else is
Yeah.
just, you know, you're
Like, anybody over 188 is just going to be in a heavyweight class.
Yeah.
I'm like, sign me up, dude. I'm in on that.
Are you talking about the age or some of the weight?
No, age.
well,
I
like,
was
yeah, but I'm
teasing.
saying both are kind of like that. Because what's the age they just cut it off at? I mean, what's the weight they just cut it off at?
For like the
For
heavyweight?
like ultra heavy.
Man, I don't know. I was trying to. I
The
think
ultra
it's
heavy is-
205 to 2.
I was thinking.
Ultra heavies, there's no weight. Like you can be.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
any
But
weight
it's
you
over.
want.
It's over 205, right? Like over 205.
I think it's over 220.
Over 2.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
Because
think
saying.
it's
Ryan's always
Between
playing
220.
around.
No, that's kind of a broad spectrum.
It is because Brian plays around with it. I've seen him go ultra heavy and then come down below
Okay.
to like light heavy or whatever. But
Cause like somebody 220 and a quarter against
'Cause he got some-
280.
he's a beast.
Mhm.
Like,
350.
Yeah, 350.
yeah,
You know?
350 that moves and knows what
Yeah.
they're doing.
Yeah.
So it's
And I've seen it.
Scary. There's some scary dudes out there. That's
yeah.
why I'm not doing. I rarely do open class.
Yeah.
Last time I did open class, I had to go against what's his nuts that runs Ravelin. First, he's like 6'3", 230.
He just
solid.
got his black
Ooh.
belt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what
Yeah,
Crazy.
we went. Actually, had a good fight till he reached down. He's like 6'5", actually. He reaches down and he caught me in an Ezekiel choke. Or no, he caught me. I think it was an Ezekiel choke. I can't remember for sure. Well, I had him in X guard. I still know how he did that, but it was
Because you're fighting an orangutan. Man.
because I'm 5'6" and a half, 5'7", and
He's a foot taller than you.
Yeah.
That tends to be a
he's down. I
problem.
was like,
Yeah.
this is bullshit. I was doing great.
Good. But I'm telling you, when it's time, hit me. I want to help get it out.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, man.
Yeah, I'm
either
excited.
distributor or set up some
Yeah, yeah.
showings or whatever, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll figure it out, man.
Make a little ching. Cha-ching.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Right? Not like the politician we talked about earlier. We leave the second part off, we'll get in trouble. See? Yeah, start losing jobs and stuff. Damn it.
No.
No, but I appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, guys.
Seriously,
I
we
appreciate
gotta
it.
chat off there a
Definitely.
little bit. Us.
Us.
Yeah.
I think my voice is gone. What's going on with me?
When you get little, you just turn into a little bitch, man.
Oh, man. bro.
God damn. Sure, I'm talking a lot of shit for not getting on the mat.
You see my ultrasound machine out there? I'm a dude. I got to
You
fix
got an
my stuff.
ultrasound machine.
Yeah, for like my
Yeah.
shoulders.
Once you
Yeah.
get a
Never
shoulder-
told
once
you
you
the
get a shoulder,
FBI
yeah.
ultrasounded me?
What?
What'd they think you had?
Well, I used to work armored car, and we got hit
Okay.
for like $4 million.
Oh.
And so anybody that had done that route for last 6 months, they brought them down the FBI.
Yeah.
And it's like the movies. If you go to the FBI here, it's like they built it on a hill, so that when you go down, they can take you down in the elevator. You
Yeah.
get this dungeonous quality going, and literally they put you in a room with a table and a camera, and leave you there for 30 minutes. We'll be right back. You know what I mean? So they just monitor you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they come in, they ask you questions, and they sent me to the guy who grilled me on like everything I'd stolen in my life.
Polygraph or ultrasound?
Polygraph.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
You
that's-
said, I'm like, why are they
ultrasound. What'd they think you
ultrasound?
shoved shit up your ass?
Shoved it in your
Yeah.
body?
Yeah.
Oh, man, you said ultrasound.
Yeah,
I'm thinking,
ultrasound.
what do you have an ultrasound for?
For
I
my
was thinking
shoulder and
polygraph.
elbows and it's like joint stuff, recovery.
Sounds like some weird stuff you're in there, dude.
Yeah.
I wish, man. I
It's
wish it was
just
weird.
jacked up.
Just oldish.
Yeah, I
shit,
didn't get
man.
ultrasound. I was thinking polygraph when you said that.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
How'd you like that polygraph?
I loved it. I was better if it was ultrasound while we were watching Red Belt. That would have been
Oh,
great.
yeah.
We should polygraph you, and so we can tell if you're telling the truth about Red Belt. 'Cause then
Oh, me? Mine would be.
is this
have
really
you
a
ever
great
seen-
movie? Yes.
Mine, if you ask me that, have you ever seen Equilibrium?
Maybe. I'm
Another
not sure.
great movie, but
No, that one I haven't seen.
Is it a David Mamet film?
no, it's was it Scott Weimer? But they're polygraphing him, and it's just going crazy, and they ask him a question, and he just goes silent, just goes dead like that, and
Yeah.
everyone in the room knows he's about to kill them all. It's just like beep beep beep. Bing, and they know that. Oh shit!
Yeah.
So mine would just be like, do you like this movie? Just be fucking solid the whole time. and then you call Anisanto, the old Asian guy. I'm like, oh god damn this. not because you call him Asian, because
Yeah.
it's Guru Dan, the man, the myth. the
I
legend.
like the idea of a little Mystery Science Theater, man. That'll be fun.
I think it'd be a lot of fun. If we have the 40s.
Somebody's got to play the robot.
We probably wouldn't have 40s. We'd have like 15s because we're old now. So just drink a
Well,
little.
those little Were they midget cans or were midget bottles they used
or we
to
can
sell?
get the little wine
yeah,
bottles.
yeah.
You see those little wine bottles? When
This
my
is
girl's really mad at me, I see those all
This
over
is
the
going
place.
from very like hood.
When you're in trouble.
When I'm in trouble and if I see a bunch of those outside in her little artsy area that she does art, and I'll see a bunch, I'm like, I'm in deep shit tonight.
This is going very
she's been
it's
drinking.
gone very hood to all of a sudden very refined.
Yes.
We're drinking
Is
small
that
wine.
refined? Is those little wine bottles refined?
I don't have a clue, man. They're small. That's all I know.
I don't know.
It's wine and it's small.
I'm gonna get myself in trouble before I get off this podcast.
Probably. Well, that's all right though.
So what do you have ultrasound? So you
Yeah, I have
check
issues
your
with
muscles.
elbows and shoulders. No joint stuff. So
Mhm.
basically, when you do that, super long, so short, it sends ultrasound through into the soft tissue, so it helps break up some of the binding and scar tissue and crap like that. So I can get some mobility back
That's interesting.
and go flip around a 170.
How does
pound.
one acquire that bit of technology? You can just go online and buy
Yeah,
that.
they have portable ones as cheap as I think $30-$40, all the way up to
Really?
$10,000-$15,000 ones. Yeah,
Wow, that's pretty cool.
yeah. But I mean, like super great. I mean, it helps
Is
with
the left
recovery.
shoulder?
Yeah, left
Okay.
shoulder. Yeah,
You need to get
and
that
I might
going.
actually pay you to try to make my arm straight again.
I'm not gonna try to straighten out that arm. Jesus Christ!
That's
You'd curl me up and throw me over if I try to straighten.
the hard part. Is you get it. What are you gonna do with it?
Yeah, guys
Damn
like you,
it.
it's just chokes. There's no,
Yeah.
there's no joint locks, arm bars. Maybe a
None of
wrist
that.
lock or some
Yeah.
shit. Toe hold. Can't muscle the
Yeah.
feet.
No.
Well, that's actually not true either.
Brian wrestles though, right? Like he's Greco-Roman.
No, Brian was I think a freestyle wrestler
Okay.
through high school through college, and then jumped right into jiu-jitsu right after that. And yeah, you feel his wrestling when you go with him. Trust me.
Yeah.
Who's this?
Brian Marvin.
Yep.
Don't-
Owner of the. That's what I was
Enzo
talking
Gracie.
to. Yeah, Enzo Gracie over
Okay,
there.
okay.
That's-
Yeah.
He's got a red beard.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah.
Yep,
Red
the
beard.
Viking looking dude.
See.
Gingers unite. Jesus, we've had two gingers.
The hell? We're screwing up the demographics.
We're cursing
Did
ourselves.
y'all have him on last
Shit.
show? Or
Yeah, we
Couple
did.
last week. Yeah.
Yeah,
Last
Yeah.
week.
sure
Yeah.
did. Yeah, it's bananas.
Or you have a cap?
What are the
on-
odds of that?
You got a cap on that or what?
Like, what are
Apparently,
the
I
odds?
don't
There's
know
only
what-
so many
yeah.
gingers in the world.
You guys are a
So-
dying breed, man.
That's true.
You're trying to say,
I'm just saying, if the genetic thing, it's getting weeded out, man. The population gets smaller and smaller, but then they keep showing up here more and more. What the hell are we gonna do with that?
The evil gingers.
That's what it is. Y'all are
Nothing
taking
to-
over.
I'm not saying you're evil.
No. Sounds
I've
better.
been getting it my
though.
whole life. I've been getting
It
it my whole
sounds,
life.
it sounds better. You can't be like
It's
this.
a real stereotype, though. I'm telling you.
Are you serious?
Oh, God, dude, your whole life. Yeah.
I thought that was like only like in
I was just
Ireland.
a
not evil. That just you have a violent temper. You're the there's yeah, people believe that stuff. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
You know, I saw your rap on. I think it was on YouTube.
You went deep in the.
I did. It
and
was
you
pretty
did a
good. I kind of
deep
liked
dive
it though.
into Derrick
I thought
Fury
it
or
was
what?
actually pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah.
which one? Which one did you like? The video or the?
I just saw the video.
That's some stuff I released in Japan.
I
and
kinda liked it.
stuff. Yeah.
I thought it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
He's got skills.
It's kind of like
talent.
with strings and well, the guy that helped produce that is doing the score for Lion Killer.
Okay,
So
that
yeah,
was good then.
good.
Yeah.
So we're doing like
It had a good-
4 or
it had a
5
real good
original
soundtrack.
songs and then the score.
cool, yeah.
So it's interesting when you're editing it and you've got the music. So all the stuff isn't in yet, but yeah. So editing it with music is completely different than just kind of like editing it dry. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. So yeah, I appreciate it. You
No,
know,
I
who
did.
knows?
I
Maybe I'll come out of retirement and do a verse or
You
something
should.
for Lion Killer. My wife keeps wanting me to do that. Like you should do this. Like
If you like doing it, do it.
oh, I love it. It's
Yeah.
just man,
Yeah.
it's like we could do a whole podcast on my history with hip hop. It's like or where hip hop is at now versus everything. So it's like when Kiki D Love Me is like a famous rap song.
Yeah,
it's like
that's-
there's really no room for Derrick Fury to come out and like start like hitting them with some boom bap real
Yeah, they would
rap
be
stuff.
confused.
You know.
Dude, that'd
so-
be fun, man. So I want to do. I'll share this. I want to do a live audience one
yeah.
podcast. That could be fun because I've got 3 or 4 younger guys that I know that are in the music industry coming up
Yeah.
and on the hip hop rap side.
Yeah.
And dude, that would be.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it actually.
You don't remember the
Bring
name
in
of it? It was
Treasure-
probably one of the ones with strings.
I don't remember.
Yeah. It was that good.
You were,
forgot.
Yeah.
Well, I saw it earlier today because I was just looking in some of your stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you were against a wall or something.
Oh yeah. Those yeah.
It was well done. It was well edited and all that stuff. I liked it. Anyway,
I'm gonna have to
Well, I
get on there.
appreciate it.
you should
We'll
get back
do
to
it.
doing that a
Yeah.
little bit too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'll
you
try.
got your hands full, I'm sure, with the films.
Yeah,
that
I mean,
sounds
music
like
will
that
always
is
be,
an undertaking. So I'm excited for that.
Well, good guys.
Yeah. No, appreciate it, man. Yeah, that's
Appreciate
awesome.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
So I'm gonna get off this one. So thanks everybody, and then we're gonna have private talk after this. So you get it. Peace.